Welcome to the home of Florida's finest everything. Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades. They call it Florida's Paradise Coast for a reason. Bask in 30 miles of soft white sand beaches, luxurious hotels, and stunning beachfront resorts with delectable dining experiences. Take advantage of warmth, relaxation, and endless outdoor adventures. When you want a Florida vacation that's exceptional in every way, only Paradise will do. Naples, Marco Island, and the Everglades. Florida's Paradise Coast. Plan your visit now at paradisecoast.com.
Now more than ever, Lowe's knows you don't just want a low price, you want the lowest price. And with our lowest price guarantee, you can count on us for competitive prices on all your home improvement projects. If you find a qualifying lower price somewhere else on the same item, we'll match it. Lowe's, we help, you save. Price match applies the same item, current price at qualifying retailers. Exclusions and terms apply. Learn how we'll match price at lowes.com/lowest price guarantee.
I am telling you that nothing, no thing has ever tasted better than food on cheat day. How good the food tastes on cheat day is worth how boring my diet is the other 6 days of the week. Now, I know what you're wondering. Rachel, nobody asked you about nutrition. Ashley asked you about an arm workout. Yes, but we got to be real. Because all of the people that you see on social media who are like, do this workout, do this, do that, 6 days a week, and you'll have arms like mine. No, girl, you can't have arms like that unless you are thoughtful about your nutrition. They go hand in hand every time. I suppose if you're like a teenage girl or you're, 19 years old or something, you have a different metabolism than mama has. Yeah, maybe you do have those arms. But I'm assuming that most of the people listening to this have arms that are a little bit older than those girls. So we need to approach it in a different way. Hey guys, it's Rach. Welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you're here with us today. And I have a favor, which sounds kind of harsh if we just met, but I'm assuming that most of you have been a part of this community for a hot minute. And so I gotta ask, are you subscribed to the podcast? Subscribing to the podcast you listen to regularly is one of the best things that you can do for hosts like me. It helps to support the show and the staff that works on it. It ensures that you never miss an episode when we drop a new one. And here's the cool thing about subscribing. If you do it and then you hate this show, just unsubscribe. It's one click away. In the meantime, if you're listening, we would so appreciate it if you would just tap that button and make it official. Hi guys, it's Rach. Welcome to another episode of the podcast and a new edition in our Ask Rach series. I'm here, producer Jack is here, and we are ready. I mean, we're not going to answer the questions together as a duo. He's going to watch while I answer the questions for you. But if you've never listened to one of these episodes, basically, y'all call in and you leave us a voicemail. Producer Jack goes through them all. He chooses the ones that make sense or that he thinks will be the most beneficial to the most people. Then I sit down, I play the voicemails for you, for me, and I answer them in the moment. I always make a point of telling you guys that I'm answering them like from my gut, from my instinct, very little prep work here, because I want you to remember that I am just a random chick you know from the internet. You should always trust yourself first and foremost. You should always get advice from the actual experts that you know. But if you're curious what I have to say on the subject, you can always call the hotline. Our number is 737-400-4626, and I would be happy to answer your questions. I guess let's just jump on in today. We're starting with a parenting question, it looks like. So I feel like the question always starts about parenting and ends up being something we all need to hear no matter what stage of life we're in. So let's listen.
Hi, Rachel. My name is Colleen, longtime listener. Calling in, I'm reading your book right now, your new book. Love it, by the way. And there's a part where you talk about how you woke up and you were excited to write, but then things didn't go exactly as you planned. Your youngest woke up a little bit earlier, and then you put her next to you, and the box fell on your foot. And I don't want to give too many details because not everyone has read the book, but my question to you is, I know in the book you mentioned, stepping away and counting to 10 when you're overwhelmed. I have 6 kids. I have what I call my first 4, who range between the ages of 10 and 16. And then we had surprise twins almost 2 years ago. They're 22 months old. And I think that I'm pretty good at managing my time with them and schedules and everything, but not something that any mom wants to admit. But we all, we lose our cool. We get frustrated. For example, I like to get a workout in the morning before they wake up and so on. I like to have a bit of me time, but then if the twins wake up a bit earlier, I feel like it throws my whole day off, or it throws off like my expectation of that morning, and then I need to readjust, and it takes me a while to readjust. My question to you is, what, if you have any tips, do you have for not letting it get to you? Like counting to 10, for example, stepping away. Is there anything else that you do just to help you, stay in that calm state, not get frustrated when a wrench is thrown in your plan? I look forward to hearing from you. Love you. Bye.
Oh, Colleen, I love you too. Okay, so Colleen is referencing a chapter in the new book, which is What If You Are the Answer? And in that chapter, I'm talking about how hard it is to be a working parent, what it looks like, especially for those of us who work from home and who are trying to navigate how do you show up as a really good parent to these kids, and also how do you pursue your dreams simultaneously. It's a heavy lift for anybody to pursue a big goal or a big dream, but I think for parents, it's something else entirely. It takes a whole other mindset for sure. And the first place that I want to start with here is actually looking at what is really frustrating, okay? On the surface, it's super easy to think that we are frustrated because the kids have done something, right? They woke up early and that was supposed to be our morning time. Or in the story I share in the book, I am excited to sit down and write, and that happens to be a day where my daughter at the time was super clingy and wanted to be right next to me, and that does make it hard to try and write a great book when you have a Velcro baby attached to you. But what's really going on in that instance is not that the kids are doing something that is frustrating. It's that the kids are doing something we think they shouldn't be doing. Okay, just like go with me for a second here. We're never upset because of what happened. We're upset because we think it shouldn't have happened. So it's already hard enough to get focused, to lay out your day, to set that alarm, to get up early. You have the courage to get up early, to get up before anybody else. You did the thing. You put so much effort into doing the thing. And then this baby had the audacity to wake up in this tiny little precious amount of moment that you gave yourself in the morning. And yes, it is so easy to sit here with some perspective and be like, why would anybody be upset about that? It's like just a baby waking up. But dude, because parents are tired, because they are overworked. In this case, Colleen has 6 kids and she's trying to carve out this little moment for herself. So it's easy to understand why that would be frustrating. If we're being fair, if we're being honest, it's super easy to understand why that would be frustrating. So if we understand that it's not that the baby woke up, it's that on some level we think they shouldn't. On some level we think that our time should not be disturbed if we have the willingness to put in the effort, that nothing should throw that off course. That's our real issue, and that's the thing that we need to take on, not what's going on with the kids. And not even how you can be on defense when that happens. Not even like, how can I count to 10 when I get frustrated, though that is very important and honorable if you're able to do it. The real question is, how can you set yourself up for success? Now, if y'all listen to episodes of this show for any amount of time, you're going to find me saying the same 10 things over and over and over, because I think these are key principles in life. And one of those key principles is, how do you set yourself up in advance for success? In this instance, and for anybody else who has frustration, not just with kids, but maybe with a partner, or maybe with a job, or maybe with someone in your family who you feel like is infringing on this time for you, and you don't want to be that way, and you don't want to be that person that feels frustrated, you need to flip it. How you could set yourself up, Colleen, is that you could plan out that morning, right? Maybe that's your time to work out. I'm going to get up at 5 a.m. I'm going to put on my shoes. I'm going to go on a run. I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm going to have some protein. I'm going to drink my coffee. I'm going to pray. I'm going to read the book. You have the whole plan. And as soon as you have that whole plan, you mentally rehearse what's going to happen if the baby wakes up. You set yourself up for success by owning the fact that other scenarios might happen that don't go along with your beautiful plan that you set. Now, the good news is, y'all, most of the time, if you have the willingness to plan out that morning or plan out that day, if you have the courage to jump out of bed when that alarm goes off, and I'm going to call it courage, if you have the courage to show up for your life on that level, most of the time, the plan will go according to plan. Sometimes it won't. But if you are holding space for the fact that it could go totally awry, for the fact that the baby might wake up, you're not going to be as frustrated. And I know this as like a practiced way of living, because I have a little girl who sometimes sleeps in like a teenager and sometimes senses that I am up and meditating with my cup of coffee and joy in my heart. And she says, let's go. It's time to watch My Little Pony. Let's turn on the most annoying TV show we can right next to where mommy is. That is reality. And it is so deeply unfair for me to be frustrated because she woke up early, because I woke up early. And honestly, I want her to see what it looks like for me to be up and practicing self-care and doing my own thing before everybody else. It happens all the time. So I got over the frustration when I recognized that this was totally normal, possibly gonna happen. And then it didn't surprise me, right? We're upset because we're surprised. We had an idea in our head. We thought we could control the variables. And guess what? We cannot control the variables, and the baby is awake. The best case scenario here is that you have a beautiful plan for what happens if the morning goes the way you want it to. And you also have a plan for what you're going to do if the kiddo wakes up. Maybe that looks like an alternative way of moving your body, because that's easier to do when you have a 22-month-old who's awake with you, right? Maybe you're doing mommy and me yoga. Maybe you're putting the baby in a stroller and you're going on a walk. I have no idea, but you make a plan for what happens. And now I hear this sort of voice in the back of my mind that's like, yeah, but shouldn't I be allowed? Like, shouldn't I have these moments for myself? Yeah. So the other scenario is, if that feels real to you, if that's really what's at the root of you feeling frustrated, that looks like, do you have a conversation with your partner if you have one? I assume, because you said you had surprise twins, that maybe you got a partner up in there and you're like, hey, I really would love to have this time for myself, just like before 6:30 a.m. I would really love that time to be for me. How could we work that out? And maybe your partner's like, girl, no way. I work way too hard. I don't want to get up that early. Y'all gonna need to work that out in couples therapy. But maybe you flip the time of day that is reserved to be just yours. Or maybe you want that time so badly, you make a pact with one of your teenagers and you say, hey, I have this plan Monday through Friday that I'm going to do these things. You usually get up at 7, but sometimes the baby wakes up at 6 and it's, bleeding into my time for myself. If the baby were to wake up at 6, could I pay you $10 you don't have to, literally, you can be half awake. You sit that baby on your lap and you guys watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse for 30 minutes. Like, you find a solution in advance where everybody gets to win. Maybe you have a family where you could get a teenager to watch that baby at 6 a.m. without $10. I don't know. You got to figure out your own path here. But what it all boils down to for me is that you have got to set yourself up for the win. And you've got to understand that as a parent, you do not have full control of your time unless you have someone else there to help with the kids while you do the thing that you want to do. And guess what? You know this because you have older kids. This is a season. This will pass. Someday, those 22-month-olds are going to be 5-year-olds. They're going to be 8-year-olds. They're going to be 10-year-olds. They're going to be able to wipe their own butt and get their own breakfast. And they'll wake up in the morning and get ready for school, and you won't have to do anything. Doesn't mean that it's not frustrating right now, but understand that it will pass to the next evolution of their lives. You won't always have to deal with this. But while you have to deal with this, what can you do to make it feel better for all of you? The other thing that I want to plant in your mind for you and for anybody else who has kids is the idea of something researchers call emotional contagion. Contagion. One of those words, okay? Basically, meaning that we catch the emotions of the people around us. And this is strongest between parents and children. So if you want your kids to be more calm, you have to be more calm. If you want it all to flow more easily, you have to flow more easily. Whatever you are doing and however you respond to a situation, they're going to pick up on that energetically. Maybe you look at how you lay out the day right now and you see if there are areas inside of what you're already doing that could feel better for you and feel better for the kids. Because with parenting, it's never just one part of the day, right? We want that part of a day to set the foundation for everything that comes next. But any little adjustments that you can make in a 12-hour period that make any regular part of your day feel better are going to make all of it feel better. It's hard, I know, because it means, once again, it all comes down to us. It all comes down to mama. It all comes down to daddy. It all comes down to figuring it out within ourselves so that we can show up well for them. But, you've raised 6 kids, Colleen. You can do anything. This is just one more season that you are trying to navigate, and I promise you, you will get through it.
Comcast operates the nation's largest converged network, reaching 64 million homes and businesses. With $80 billion invested to expand broadband infrastructure in the U.S., Comcast is actively supporting the goal of bringing broadband to everyone, including rural communities across the country. Comcast has connected 1.2 million new homes and businesses in the last year and are on track to do the same this year. Learn more about how Comcast is bringing high-speed internet to communities across the country at ComcastCorporation.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. Men today face immense pressure. It's no wonder that 6 million men in the U.S. suffer from depression every year, and it's often undiagnosed. It's okay to struggle. Real strength comes from opening up about what you're carrying and doing something about it so you can be at your best for yourself and everyone else in your life. If you're a man and you're feeling the weight of the world, talk to someone. If you know a man, love a man, and you feel like he's having a hard time, maybe this is the moment that you bring it up. BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. It's convenient, too. You can join a session with the therapist at the click of a button. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. My listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/Rach. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/Rach. If y'all have a question like Colleen, be sure and call into the hotline, 737-400-4626. Okay, next question. I am so excited about this one. I'm not going to lie. I saw this question on the list, you guys, and I've been excited to tell you about it for like a week. So Let's listen to it together.
Hi, Rach. This is Ashley. I heard you talk about your awesome arms on a couple of your podcast episodes recently, and I was just curious, what is your routine? You said that you have a new routine and have just implemented some different things recently to get your awesome arms, and that's something that, I've wanted for a long time too, but I've really found challenging. So I would love to hear what you're doing and how that's going. Thanks a lot. Appreciate everything you do. Bye.
Okay, Ashley, thank you for this question. And please, y'all, I am here for workout, nutrition, just like lightness. If I look through 200 voicemails from y'all, 187 of them are like so like heavy, okay? Let's just be real. Y'all are using me for some free therapy. I'm here for it. Let's go. But every once in a while, oh my God, it is so nice to have someone ask me about my arm workout. So if you're ever like, I have a question for Rachel, but that seems dumb, that I'm looking for dumb. I'm in the mood for dumb. Please call the hotline 737-400-4626. Let's talk about arms. Before we jump into this, I do have to add this note, and I know I say it all the time, but I feel like when you talk about like nutrition or working out or anything like that, people are like, blah, 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 and yeah, great. If you got a better way, you go do that way. I am not debating. I don't want an argument. I am, the least confrontational person you're ever going to meet. If you disagree with how I work out my arms, fantastic. Don't listen. I am not trying to tell you how to do it. I'm just telling you how I do it. I mean, that basically sums up my entire career, but let's jump in. The first, I guess we should just start with the super bummer. Okay, we have to start with the super bummer, and it is this. If you want to see any definition on your body, it starts in the kitchen. Oh, I hate it. I freaking hate that this is true. But when I would see these people with like amazing, what I would call like yoga arms or surfer arms, they like be beautifully cut. But those people are following a nutritional plan for you to be able to see those muscles in their body, period. Either they are following a very strict nutrition plan, or they're not taking in enough calories perhaps, or they're naturally slim. But I don't know anybody that can have both muscle and low fat, body fat percentage so that you could see those muscles on their body without doing something really specific to get it that way. And in being on this journey, I realize now so many people that I would before look at and go, my gosh, like, must be nice to have those genetics. No. If they're my age, those aren't genetics. They're working for that body. They're working for that butt. They're working for those arms. They're working for those abs. It is super frustrating because we are taught that there's a hack, that there's a diet, that there's a magic pill, that there's this, that, and the other thing that we can do. And there's not. Well, I guess there's like plastic surgery. There's like surgeries you could do. But even that doesn't seem easy. That seems like a huge undertaking to have nice arms. So all of that to say, here's what I know to be true. If you disagree with this, awesome. This is what I know to be true. If you don't know this, because I didn't know this as like an adult human, I did not know this was true. Do you know what a calorie is? Producer Jack, just nod your head. Do you know what a calorie is? Yeah, he does. He's smart. He's a smart cookie. A calorie is a unit of measure. It is how much energy your body needs to burn off that thing that you just consumed. So if something has 1,000 calories in it or 100 calories in it, that is how much energy it just gave your body. So if you're doing something that burns an equal amount of energy as the thing that you just ate, everything's going to stay the same. If you do more, so if you expend more energy than what you just ate, your body's going to lose weight. And if you consume more calories than you are able to burn off in a day, your body's going to gain weight. That's a really basic way to look at it, but that's not something that everybody knows, so we have to start there. 2 things have happened for me to have nicer arms. Number 1, I've gotten really hardcore about my nutrition, and I already thought my nutrition was hardcore, and it wasn't. I honestly did not know what hardcore was until I started doing this. And even doing something that feels so intense to me, I am still burning about 1 pound a week. I'm going to call that perimenopause, baby, because I think if my teenage son was doing the same thing I am doing, he would be jacked. But all of that to say, I've told you guys before, my diet has been predominantly whole foods, fruits, veggies, protein, rice, potatoes, like really, really healthy, what I would consider very healthy. And it is very healthy, but it does hold more weight around my midsection than I wanted to have. Here's another truth. I am sorry, everybody, that I am babbling, and I hope that some of you can stay with me because I just have a lot of info, okay? If I say something that doesn't make sense, call the hotline, ask for clarification. I'll do my best. But the other bummer that I have learned, I'm taking a quick side moment from my nutrition to just say, you cannot spot lose fat. So if you're like, I don't like that I have flabby arms, but my butt won't quit. Like I have a butt that won't quit, it is juicy, it is bubbly, it is delicious. You can't spot lose the fat on your arms. You lose fat everywhere, unfortunately. It's such a bummer. So like lots of parts of my body, I'm like, get a girl, get a girl. But I have these flabby arms I don't like. So I was just like, okay, we have to be a bit more hardcore. I can't remember if I said this to you or not, but my husband, Kez, has the most insane body. He is like the healthiest. He's tried everything. He knows everything. And I kept asking him for like months. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing wrong? And he's like, nothing. You are so beautiful. You are so hot. You're so sexy. Like literally nothing for months and months and months. And I'm like, every time I'm like, that's really sweet. That's so nice. He's so nice to me. But then I started to try and be more focused because I was working on my arms. Ashley, I swear I'm going to get to the arm workout in a second. Started working out my arms and I could tell that my muscles were getting stronger, but I could not see them. Girl, like, why am I busting my butt at the gym, trying so hard to get into a tank top and have yoga arms, but I can't see the muscles unless I'm like flexing? Oh, it's so annoying. So I was like, I am so frustrated by this. So I keep asking Kez. He's like, you're so beautiful. And finally, I'm like, I need you to stop being a supportive, feminist, amazing husband. And I need you to just tell me what I am doing wrong. I was like, I know that you know exactly what I am doing wrong. And I need you to tell me. Like, stop being supportive and kind for 6 minutes and just tell me what's up. And like, he grinned and I was like, see, I knew you knew. And he's like, okay, if you want to see definition and see your muscles, I can tell you what to do, but I don't want to tell you what to do because it's going to make you unhappy. And I was like, why do you say that? He's like, because you love food. You love to cook. You love to eat. Like, this way of eating is so boring. You're gonna hate it. That's why I don't want to tell you. And I was like, okay, but I just want to know. If you tell me, at least then I know whether or not I should take it on. And he's like, okay, here's what you're going to do. You are going to do 6 days a week on plan. And on plan is protein, greens, beans, that's our carb, eggs, olive oil. I'm going through what I eat in a week. That's it. Bro, that's it. That's it. Okay, so 6 days a week, you're not having a drink, you're not having dairy, you're not having nuts. You guys, half my diet is nuts. But, quick side note, nuts have a ton of calories. So let's back over to this little thing. So he's like, these are the things you're going to eat, but also you're going to pay attention to your calorie count, which is not something I have ever done in my life. Child of the 80s, I heard it a lot. Coming into the 90s, coming into 2000s, people were like, don't count your calories. It's really bad for you, makes you obsess. And what that created in me, I am positive that created 5 to 10 additional pounds of fat because I didn't understand how many calories I was eating in a day. And I am just going to take a quick side moment and say, I don't care what you weigh. This is not about like your weight, whatever. This is me trying to work on my body. One time I was like, I am 42 years old. One time I want to know what is possible for your girl, Rach. I want to know what's possible for these arms. And I'm so freaking tired of thinking that I am working really hard and thinking that I'm giving up things that I would love to be eating, but I don't see any results. I don't know if you guys feel like this, but like after 38, it's like I could run 6 marathons and live off salad, and I swear nothing's changing. So I was like, I just want to see what's possible.
Hey, everybody, it's Rob Lowe here. If you haven't heard, I have a podcast that's called Literally with Rob Lowe. And basically, it's conversations I've had that really make you feel like you're pulling up a chair at an intimate dinner between myself and people that I admire, like Aaron Sorkin or Tiffany Haddish, Demi Moore, Chris Pratt, Michael J. Fox. There are new episodes out every Thursday. So subscribe, please, and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit when other lenders say no. Apply in minutes and get a decision as soon as the same day. Loans offered by NetCredit or lending partner banks and serviced by NetCredit. Application subject to review and approval. Learn more at netcredit.com/partner. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
So I started this a few weeks ago. Like I had already been on a pretty hardcore arm workout. Ashley, I swear we're getting back there. I'd already been on this really hard workout kick, and I thought, well, if I added this nutrition in, what would happen? So I've been on this for, I think I'm going into week 4, and I did not weigh myself. I know that people say like weigh yourself once a week or something, because it's that I don't think is helpful for women in a cycle. Okay, some nutritionists are gonna be like, you don't know what you're talking about. I probably don't. But here's what I do know. I know that my body and your body, if you have a menstrual cycle, you're gonna fluctuate in weight all month long. Like you could fluctuate in weight throughout a day. So weighing myself every day or even once a week, I didn't feel like was super helpful. So I thought I'm just not gonna weigh myself for like a month. I'm gonna weigh myself on the same day every month, because that way I'll know that I'm at the same spot in my hormone cycle, so I know if it's legit. And this morning, because I am right before my period and I am feeling, I don't know about you guys, but right before my period, my brain is like, why do I try so hard? This is not making a difference. Nothing matters. Like I just go into this very dramatic soliloquy about my life. And I was doing that yesterday and today about this nutrition plan. Part of the reason is because it was a holiday weekend, and there are a few things that feel more depressing than it's a holiday weekend and I'm not having hot dogs. You know, I was Memorial Day. I wanted a barbecue moment. I wanted some chips. So I woke up this morning feeling frustrated. I was like, this doesn't even work. And this little birdie whispered in my ear. My intuition was like, just weigh yourself. I know it's supposed to be another week before you do that, but just weigh yourself because it would be really helpful for you to see that you're making progress. And I've lost 2.5 pounds. So that is not nothing. I understand that there are guys listening to this who could like sneeze and lose 2.5 pounds, but I can't tell you the last time that happened. And the cool thing about doing, like, I've been working out super hard. and I've been doing this really very focused nutritional plan, is that most diets, when you see the scale change, when you see the scale drop, you're losing water weight. But when you do calorie restriction, meaning that you are burning more calories in a day than you are consuming, that's how you lose fat. And that's what I wanted to lose. So I'm feeling really good, but it sucks. Okay. I tell you, here's what I eat in a day. I wake up every single morning and I have a protein shake within 30 minutes of waking up. This is horrific. It's awful. I put like a scoop of protein in one of those shaker jars. I put a scoop of collagen powder because I'm trying to make this hair and skin look great. Shake that up with some water and some ice, pound it. Within 30 minutes of waking up, it is brutal. So this was something that Tim Ferriss has talked about a lot. He has this thing called the slow carb diet. It's like a whole thing. But they found that eating within 30 minutes of waking up kicks your metabolism into gear. This is very different than what I've done in the past with intermittent fasting. But every morning I wake up and I get protein in immediately, and I'm several weeks in and it never tastes good, and it doesn't matter. I just shotgun it. Have my coffee, go do school drop off, go to the gym, do any of that stuff, come back and have breakfast. Breakfast is some version of 3 eggs and beans. This is the slow carb diet. This is something we stole from the slow carb diet. Beans are really good. They're like fiber. They've got carbs and they keep you full for a really long time. So this morning I had refried beans that I made over the weekend with 3 eggs, some Cholula, some tomatoes, some pickled red onion. So it tastes delicious. Like, I make it taste really good. The tomatoes and the onions and stuff, that's not what Kez told me to do. But I'm like, you know what, girl? Like, we're going to have some tomatoes. It's fine. For lunch, I'll have a salad and some protein. For dinner, I'll have protein and greens, probably broccoli. I eat that a lot. No snacks. This time of the month, I'm finding like I get a little bit hungrier. So yesterday I had an apple. Don't tell anybody. It was huge. I had a little apple. And yeah, I do that 6 days a week. And then this is where people are going to forget. People are already freaking out. I can just feel it. I feel there are people listening to this who are like nutrition experts or workout experts, and they're like, everything she's saying is wrong. She is sharing a legion of lies. No, you don't have to do the thing I'm telling you I'm doing. This is just what I'm doing. It's also worth mentioning I'm eating a ton. So I was willing to do this because I started seeing all these videos on YouTube. Where all the science comes from. But I started seeing all these videos on YouTube where people were talking about bulk eating with calorie restriction. And if you haven't ever seen that, go search those words on YouTube. There's some incredible bodybuilders, incredible, like women with beautiful bodies, like our dream bodies, y'all. And they're eating volume eating, like not bulk eating, volume eating, meaning they're eating huge portions. But those portions that they're eating, the calorie intake of those portions is not the same as like toast with peanut butter has the same calorie portion as like egg whites, turkey bacon. Like, they found recipes where the calorie count of this huge meal is the same as the calorie count of this tiny meal. So if you like to eat a lot, and I do, this is a way around it. So that was why I took this on. I've been doing it every day, 6 days a week. And then it's cheat day. It's cheat day because you know what? If it's good enough for The Rock, it's good enough for me. And I've been talking about cheat day and cheat meal for at least 10 years. And as long as I've been talking about it, there are always these people who are like, don't call it cheat. That's negative. It's a negative association. I don't like that word. Girl, you call it purple day. You call it unicorn, rainbow sprinkle Sunday day. It doesn't matter what you call it. I call it cheat day because it's just what I call it. But on Saturdays, girl, we eat. I guarantee, I actually was thinking about this, Jack. This summer in Hawaii, I feel like I should do 2 YouTube videos, okay? One is the 6 days. Like, no BS is what I eat for 6 days in a row. And then 1 is what I eat on cheat day, because nobody would believe how much food I eat You wouldn't, you'd be like, she doesn't, that's not possible. I don't know what other people do on their cheat day. I only want one thing. I want bread. I want bread like in a sexual way. Okay? I want bread. What did I do this week? Kez has been making homemade sourdough bagels. So I had a homemade sourdough bagel. I had a turkey and cheese sandwich with crinkle cut. I'm making my mouth water because I've been, crinkle cut salt and pepper chips with like the good turkey. That's what we call like the kind of turkey that we like. Cheese, avocado, tomato, onions, lettuce, big like Dagwood style sandwich on homemade sourdough because my boo loves to bake. We had cake. We had homemade lasagna, homemade garlic bread for dinner. We had homemade Caesar. The weekend before, I was just like eating. Oh, pancakes. Homemade lemon ricotta pancakes for breakfast plus bacon. If I can fit it into my body, I'm eating it on cheat day. And there's all of this data around why doing 1 day a week where you spike your calories. Have you ever heard, I'm going to for sure say this wrong. Someone's, again, talk to a nutritionist. But have you ever heard about people who are doing the same nutritional plan over and over and they start to plateau? Yes, of course you have. What I always heard was that spiking calories 1 day a week, it like shakes up your system. Your body's like, ah, and then you're back on plan. I don't know if that's real, but I'm telling you that I've lost weight. I am telling you that no thing has ever tasted better than food on cheat day. How good the food tastes on cheat day is worth how boring my diet is the other 6 days of the week. Now, I know what you're wondering. Rachel, nobody asked you about nutrition. Ashley asked you about an arm workout. Yes, but we got to be real. Because all of the people that you see on social media who are like, do this workout, do this, do that 6 days a week, and you'll have arms like mine. No, girl, you can't have arms like that unless you are thoughtful about your nutrition. They go hand in hand every time. I suppose if you're like a teenage girl or you're, 19 years old or something, you have a different metabolism than mama has. Yeah, maybe you do have those arms. But I'm assuming that most of the people listening to this have arms that are a little bit older than those girls. So we need to approach it in a different way. So the bummer is you do have to think about what you eat. That's the bummer. Let's talk about this workout. All right. Thank you for asking. The first thing that I started to do that changed my arms was, number 1, work them out consistently. It's so freaking obvious, but you need to hear me say it if you're not already doing it. So I work out my arms every other time I go to the gym, which could be 3 days a week, could be 4 days a week, depending on how I'm feeling. But I work out my arms every other time. The arms are the part of the body that I'm trying my hardest to tone up. So I'm willing to do that. I worked them out consistently. The second thing that I did that changed the structure of my arms, and I would show you guys, but I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. Second thing I did is got really intentional about upping my weights. So I had kind of been using maybe like 8-pound weights for the entirety of my adult life. And I was like looking around at the gym and all the women who had these beautiful bodies that I admire, those girls are not using 8-pound weights, okay? They are using weight. They are truly strength training. So I was like, all right, I'm going to start upping my weight. So I started with 8-pound weights probably like 6 months ago, and now I use 15. So I do my bicep curls of 15, which is very heavy. To be fair, I use 15, but I'm only doing like 8, whatever this is, I think rep. I do 8 reps with 15s because I heard this thing from Arnold Schwarzenegger's newsletter, which is called like Pump Club or something, that you should always start with your heaviest weight. So most people will start with a lighter weight and they'll kind of work up in their reps, but they say no wasted reps. They're like, start with the heaviest weight And then if you need to, go down in weight, but at least your muscles have gotten like the hardest strength training you're going to do in that first rep when you have the most energy. So I do bicep curls, and I learned from Kez. I was using one weight for my biceps and then a different weight for my triceps. And triceps are the muscle I most want to be toned. And one day he was like, oh, babe, like your triceps have to be treated like they are as strong as your biceps. So whatever weight you're using on the front, you need to also use on the back. So that's really started to change the game for triceps. So I usually go bicep curls into tricep kickbacks. The easiest thing to do, honestly, if you don't know how to work out your arms, either get an app where they teach you, find someone on YouTube who is legit, who has a bunch of followers, who has proven results, watch their videos and mimic the workouts they're doing. Best case scenario, if you can afford it, is to hire a trainer. Even if you only use that trainer 1 or 2 times, but they teach you proper form and they teach you how to use the machines at your gym, that is going to be super helpful in knowing what to do. So bicep curls, tricep kickbacks. While I'm bent over, I'll do some bent over rows, and then I'll do some flies. I'm like showing you guys this even though you can't see me. I do 3 sets of 10 to 12 depending on what the weight is. So I do that rep. I usually get a Bosu ball, flip it over on its ball side down, and I do push-ups on the Bosu. So I'll do 30 push-ups, not all together. I do 3 reps of 10. I swear by Pilates movements to get like toning and sort of striation. I don't even know what I'm talking about, y'all. But to me, a Pilates movement is a much lighter weight doing more reps of something. So, God, you can't see me, so this doesn't really make sense. But okay. I want you to imagine that you have a 5-pound weight in each hand and you're holding them out in front of you like you're going to serve a platter to someone. I use 5-pound weights. You could use 3 or 2. This starts to burn really fast. And you're holding the platter out in front of you and then you're just pulsing, like pulse a platter. That you might pulse 25 times or 50 times. And then I want you to take those platter arms and put them out to each side like you're Jesus in that statue of Jesus in Brazil. And then you're going to like go up and down like you're pulsing again. And then the big one, and I don't even know how to describe this if you guys can't see me, is I want you to take those little weights that you have in your hand and I want you to like put them up above your head like the weights are kissing each other. You're putting them up above your head, out about a foot in front of your forehead. And then I want you to make a circle with those weights and tap it at the bottom, down like by your belly button, and then circle up again to the top, up above your forehead. And I want you to do 10 of those, more if you can. This one hurts like a mofo. So I don't know how many you're going to be able to do, but that, I swear, that one circle move, which I stole because I saw another girl at the gym doing it. Side note, I steal so many arm workouts. When I see girls with nice arms, I'm like, what are you doing? What do you got? What's happening over there? What are you doing with those bands? I don't steal it in front of them because I don't want them to know what a loser I am. But later, after they're gone, I try the moves. I do free weights, I guess, is the answer. I do some stuff with the cable machine. I guess the big thing for me would be I have a plan for what my workout's going to be every time before I start the workout. So do you have that? Do you know I'm going to do 3 reps, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Keep them on a note in your phone. Like design your workout before you go in. If you go into the gym and you don't have a plan, you're going to fart around. It's like the same as if you sit down to work on a Monday morning, but you don't know what your plan and goal is for the week. Good luck. So you got to go in with a plan. My other thing is because I'm thinking about calories being burned off as part of my workout, I am going, when I started my arm journey, I would do at least 20 minutes of working out my arms, at least 20. Now it's 30. So I start the workout on my Apple Watch. You could start it on your phone, but making sure that I'm in there and I'm committed and I'm doing the workout for at least half an hour. And if you want to change the game, okay, I'm going to stop talking because I realize I've just spent the last half of this episode just talking about working out in arms. But I think if you're still here, you're into it, right? If you want to change the game, You've got that strength training workout starting with 20 minutes minimum, aiming at 30 minutes minimum. And then you're going to add at least 20 minutes of cardio onto the end of that workout. I know not everybody has that kind of time, but if you really want to see things change in your body, 20 minutes of cardio a day. And cardio means like your heart rate's up. This is not a walk. This is not moving your body because you want to feel better. This is actually like actively doing some kind of cardio for 20 minutes. That is going to burn a ton of calories, which is going to increase your calorie deficit, which is going to make the muscles show more. OMG. I just realized, Jack, this is why they don't actually ask me questions like this, because I'm just going to talk way too much. I hope someone's still here. I hope that was helpful. I would actually die. I wouldn't die. That's not true. I would be so excited to hear you guys tell me about what you do for nutrition and what you work out and if you found some magic hack. But that's what I'm doing. And it's really helpful that my husband's doing it. He's actually way more hardcore than me. So it's helpful that he's doing it. And both of my teenagers are doing their version of this as well. So, oh my gosh, like Jackson, my oldest, has put on 20 pounds in the last year, which is actually, that sounds bad, but it's actually really good. Like he's been trying so hard to put on some muscle. So he is bulking. He's the only one of us who gets to eat whatever he wants. And he's like sitting at the table, like trying to eat protein, like just huge bowls of chicken. Like, ugh. We're like, shut up. Must be nice. And then Sawyer, oh my God, like his body is unrecognizable because we've all been doing this like protein, greens, eggs, keep it simple, have fun on cheat day, working out. The God's honest truth is I am moving my body 7 days a week. I would say 6 days a week. They're cardio and some kind of strength, unless it's a long run. I did a 5-mile run the other day. That's all I'll do for the day. This is way too much information. I'm blabbering. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry I'm not sorry. I hope you try this and all of a sudden your body is slamming and you're like, what just happened? But the reality is, the headline is, I'm going to land this plane right now. Anybody who tells you that they got that sort of like ideal body that you look at and they don't include nutrition in how they got it is lying. Or nutrition or surgery. Because nutrition and working out, that's what it is. And it sucks because I really thought at some point I'd like learn to game the system or there's just not. It's just like what we've been told forever, calories in versus calories out. It's how can you create that equation in a way that still feels good to you, that doesn't feel too depriving. For me, that light at the end of the tunnel is really helpful, but I hope that wasn't an overload, you guys. I love you, and I hope that was helpful. And I promise I won't take so long to answer your questions. Next week, if you've got one, call the hotline 737-400-4626. I love you. And I'm rooting for you.
The Rachel Hollis podcast is produced by me, Rachel Hollis. It's edited by Andrew Weller and Jack Noble.
Hey, everybody, it's Rob Lowe here. If you haven't heard, I have a podcast that's called Literally with Rob Lowe. And basically, it's conversations I've had that really make you feel like you're pulling up a chair at an intimate dinner between myself and people that I admire, like Aaron Sorkin or Tiffany Haddish, Demi Moore, Chris Pratt, Michael J. Fox. There are new episodes out every Thursday. So subscribe, please, and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
At Strayer University, we help students like you go from, is it possible, to anything is possible by offering access to up to 10 no-cost gen ed courses, so you can reach your goals affordably and fast. Visit strayer.edu to learn more. No-cost gen eds provided by Strayer University affiliate Sophia. Eligibility rules apply. Connect with us for details. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.